So I'm going to talk a little bit about my new PC build. I'm going to concentrate on the Silverstone Raven case, the new RV03. It's just been released here in the UK. And I'm going to give you a review of the case, what was the good points about it, what didn't I like so much, and my overall opinion of it. But I'm also going to talk about some of the other components of my PC build and, you know, my review of those. Do I like them? Didn't I? What was good and what was essentially bad? So let's start off. Well, the case arrived in this big brown box pertaining to have Silverstone on the side. There we can see the Raven logo. And apparently it's redefining the rules. And to be honest with you, it actually is. Let's have a little look. Now here are some of the specifications. The ones that really drew me to it was that it can have 10 internal 3.5 inch discs, which is good because I run some RAID arrays in my system. It's got USB 3. So here we can see the front of the case with the champagne, and it is, yes, champagne streaks down either side. Now some people may like this, other people may not. I personally don't mind it. I think it would have been better if they would have made it slightly more subtle colour, say like silver, but it's not going to be a deal breaker for me, let's say it that way. Now here we can see the bottom of the case, which people might say, well, that's not particularly interesting, but those magnetic filters there, they're awfully useful if you need to take them off in a hurry and reattach them. They're very easy to take off, they're very easy to reattach. Now here's the top of the case, which we're going to pop off in a moment. Now I'm going to show you my PC built in this case a bit later on during this video. But underneath there, later we're going to see that the graphics card, we can have a little look now. Yeah, we can see that the motherboard will actually be facing the top of the PC. This is one of the points of a lot of the Silverstone cases now, is it's going to be facing the top of the case, and so your graphics card, all the wires are going to go into the top as opposed to around the back. Now here we can see the front USB 3 ports. Now here we can see the massive, and I don't know how big they are, I think they're about 180, how big are they, about 180, 140, no, they must be 180 millimeter fans. You can see the motherboard tray, where you can easily fit your easily fit your CPU fan there, the big hole cut out, and we can see on the bottom right hand corner, bizarrely, where your power supply is going to be. That's one of the revolutionary points of this case, and above it we can see the 5.25 inch drive bays, which also you can use for 3.5 inch drive bays. That's how you get such an amount of 3.5 inch drive bays in there, by converting the 5.25s. Now this is my power supply, which is a Seasonic X850. I'd highly recommend this power supply. I've used several, but Seasonic, they're just a class above. They are so good. Really happy with them. Here we can see the front of the case with the champagne stripes, and the power and the reset button. This is the power supply plunged into the case now. This is at the front of the case. You can see I've come out there now. You can also see drive bays. You'll see it later when I've got my PC fully made up. But these are actually drive bays for 3.5 inch discs, so you can fit 4 3.5 inch discs on the back of the machine, and it looks pretty good. Now it's also at this stage when I really started to see the genius of this case. I was slightly skeptical beforehand, but as you can see, and as it'll be shown in a minute, all the wires of this case are going to be protruding out the back. That means there's not going to be any wires in the front of the case where the window is. Now I'm quite a neat freak, and I think the cable management system in this case is simply superb. All the wires come out the back and they're all hidden away. Now let's have a little brief look. This is the RAM I used. It's a brand called Mushkin. Now I got these in the UK from a shop called, I forget now, I think it's aria.co.uk. 16 gigabytes worth of this Mushkin black. Really, really good RAM. Really, really good RAM. Running at 1866 megahertz. So not the normal 1600 megahertz, is 1866 megahertz. Here's the graphics card I used, the MSI 560 GTX Ti. Now, I normally go for the top of end graphics cards, so I'd have gone for the 580 or 570, but I'll be honest with you, this is a really impressive graphics card. After I built my system, I went to the Nvidia homepage and they have demos. I think there's one of them, it's called Cityscape or something, when you're riding through the city, and this graphics card, it just copes so well with everything. I would highly recommend this graphics card. Whether it keeps it at 20 degrees or not, I don't know. But the graphics card, it's really good. I was really impressed with it. And I think unless you're running dual monitors, a 560 of any variety is more than powerful enough. And finally, my motherboard. I've gone all military. I've decided on a Sabertooth P67 motherboard. This has had mixed reviews. Some of the reviews I've read is, does the cooling, it's got a cooling jacket on, does the cooling jacket actually work? I don't know, but bloody hell, it looks cool. And it's nice, you get a little booklet with it that says that it's got military grade components, and it's got a really long warranty with it. It makes you feel safe when you're handling it, to be honest. It gives me a bit more confidence than a regular motherboard. Here we can see my RAM and my Tranquillo cooler over the CPU. I've got a 2600 Intel i7 CPU sitting over there, and there's my 16 gigabytes of RAM. Oh, I love it. Oh yes, I also purchased an OCZ Vertex 3 hard disk drive. And I'll be honest with you, I was a bit skeptical before I bought this. I was like, yeah, it's going to be fast, 525 megabytes. Now, I'll show you later in this video, I actually run a lot of RAID setups. I've got a video out there under a different username, which is 1.8 gigabytes per second, I think, using an ARC RAID array. So I'm used to fast drives, but bloody hell, this thing is impressive. It's so good. If you can stretch for it, definitely buy an SSD. It makes so much difference to your boot up times. Okay, now we can see the back of the case after building. It's got I'm running four mechanical drives in an array. We'll see that when I go around the front. So I've got a RAID card, an ARC 1880 RAID card. You can see my Seasonic power supply in the front, and yeah, you can see the OCZ Vertex sitting there in the heart of it all. And there's my CPU. Let's have a look. There's another beautiful view of my case. I'm quite proud of that, I'll be honest. Now this is the front of the case now. Okay, you can see some red wires which are coming out of the RAID card, which are going around the back. But if you didn't have that, to be honest with you, there's virtually no wires coming into the front of this case. And you can see the Sabertooth P67 there. Now, what are the things I actually liked about this case, and what are the things I didn't? Well, in summary, I like the revolutionary design. Having the power supply at the front of the case was actually a really good idea by Silverstone. And the cable management you get from it is excellent. What didn't I like? Two things in general. The wire, they've got this wire that comes around to the power supply. You can see it in the bottom right hand picture of here. It wouldn't quite stretch to the Seasonic power supply, and I had to go and I had to go on a forum and find out that you had to loosen. It was like a piece of wire that was holding it in place, so you got a little bit of length. Now they're changing that, but they haven't changed it in my case. I also found that the Seasonic was very tight. I think that they should have really looked at the power supplies, a little bit more before, the size of the power supply area. I think that the other thing that I didn't particularly like about it was that even though the roof pops off, try getting the roof back on when you have your graphics card wire coming out. Now, I'm sure it's possible and I'm sure I'll manage it, but I'm having a little bit of trouble. And for a first time user of one of these Silverstone cases, that, I don't know how you get around that. Use a looser, more flexible wire for the monitors, but that was something that was a little bit of a gripe. But I'll be honest with you, the real thing that struck me about this case is it is a pure work of genius. I've built a lot of PCs in my time, and I was highly skeptical about having the power supply in the front, but it's such a good idea. And I think that in terms of cable management, my overall is that, Silverstone are onto a winner with this. Maybe change a few things around, but generally excellent job, guys, and keep it up.